rest assured, on Facebook, there'll be, why wasn't anyone asked about this? I hate these changes.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yep, more than likely.
Can I address one thing on it?
Absolutely, I would love to hear what you have to say.
It's just the one thing that I mentioned back along on it, and that is the location of the stickers in the windows. I think it says upper right-hand corner. And I'd asked if we could make that the center of the windshield in the area of the mirror.
It's the beginning of section 2 on the bottom of the second page.
I would recommend against that because a lot of the newer cars now are coming out with the cameras and the sensors that are up near the top of the vehicle, especially near the mirror. That's why they moved the state inspection stickers down to the lower left.
Okay.
So,
Can we put it closer to the inspection sticker?
yes, you can.
What's
What
wrong
I'm-
with where it is?
People being people, inside the car, that's where they put it.
Yeah,
Outside the car, that's the dark stripe.
Yeah.
And I've asked people about their stickers, and, oh yeah, it's right there. I don't see it. Oh, look from the inside. So I'm just trying to get it in another location where my attendants can easily verify the sticker.
so the square green sticker is not enough, or blue, or whatever color it is.
Not when it's in
not-
the, you know the dark strip on the top of your windshield?
Yeah.
The sun visor.
The sun visor, not the
Oh,
visor
you
itself.
can't physically even
It's,
see
yeah, it's that
the,
tinted part of the windshield.
oh.
When they stick
okay.
it on there from the inside, which is how the stickers go on,
Yeah,
you can't see it from the outside.
because of what's on
Because of the
our
back.
window, not what's on the, I
Right.
thought you meant there was a black
No,
line.
no, no, because of the,
Okay,
the windshield itself.
what about the rear window? The back window?
By that time, the customer's on his way
They're all
out.
gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'd have, yeah,
It does say in the language that it needs to be plainly visible to the attendant.
Right.
So I think that you could request that they,
but I think we
Move
ought
it
to have a
down.
specific spot for it. So if it's, within 6 inches of your inspection sticker, lower left corner, for instance, we gotta be specific. People being what people are.
So, because I have other permits I have to have,
Mhm.
that's where
Okay.
that goes.
But it could be above it, it could be below it, to the right of it, anywhere in that general vicinity.
It used to be, right?
What about the people that have already put theirs up?
Right,
We'll just deal with that next year.
you mean moving it?
Yeah,
Oh,
no, not asking them to move the sticker this year,
yeah, okay.
because probably when you go to peel it off, I don't know
It would destroy it.
whether it would destroy it or not, but,
Well, it doesn't stick really
yeah,
well.
yeah. New stickers that are issued from X date on,
No,
put them down there,
Mhm.
but,
Before.
Yeah.
Before 6.
and I've spent some time over there looking at stickers over the last few weeks, and they're all over the place. Well, they're not all over the place, but some of them aren't easy to see. Some people are great, they do drop it below that shaded part of the windshield,
Mhm.
but, yeah.
Any more comment from the police chief?
Just an idea.
Well, as long as it's on the edge someplace, it's
Yeah.
not an issue.
Okay.
I don't wanna have it obstruct the view of the driver,
Mhm.
so I didn't know the reasoning for moving the stickers, so,
Yeah, that's fine.
okay.
2 inches above the inspection sticker. It's away from the inspection
Anywhere
sticker
within,
in that area.
above or around it, if it was within 2 or 3 inches of the inspection sticker would be good. So, that's my only thing that I've seen that I'd like to add to it if we could.
And what section is it again, Carol?
it's section 2 on the bottom of the second page.
Yep.
It's underlined in the last sentence. It does say affixed to the motor vehicle as directed. So I think that we could change the pamphlet that we give out every year to direct people in a new way. I'm not sure that you have to change the language. You can just change the directions in a given year.
That's a good point, because the inspection sticker might move again.
True.
Let's hope not.
Yeah,
Probably not, but
Yeah, it doesn't really say where, do you get something when you get it from town hall, or where to put it? So how
Yeah.
would they know where, if they didn't?
they must tell them, apparently, because they end up in the same spots.
Okay.
Or people that have got them years after year, they peel the old one off, they stick the new one on.
I believe it says in the pamphlet, but they were directing people when it changed, because it
Mhm.
used to be, down by, I think in the inspection sticker, or either that it was in the top left, I don't know, but they,
I don't know why I thought.
I don't know, but it got
Was it-
moved, wherever it used to be, it got moved to the upper right-hand corner, and so they used to tell everybody, but I think it was also in the, pamphlet that they give out.
So it wouldn't be easier just to make sure that you tell them that you need to move it below whatever? Do
You
you
can
think
tell
that's
them, but
impacting
it should
vision?
it should be when they get their sticker, they should know where to put it. I mean, when
Well,
you
I
get
might
your,
tell them, have them to tell
Yeah.
them, yeah.
yeah, or have a little slip of paper that goes with it, here's where you're supposed to go.
Example, but below, because I know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
I have this
But I
black thing going across mine.
I mean, if we can get it out of that and get it down in one nice little spot, I think would be better. You get some trucks that come in, you know, they're fairly high. They're, you know, some of the jacked up trucks and stuff, pickups, and,
Mhm.
you know, I'm just trying to make it easy for the guys.
So it doesn't matter, Bob, if the inspection sticker is below or above that?
No.
It doesn't, as long as it's in that one area.
Correct.
Okay. Do we wanna fix it now?
I don't think you have to, I think the language allows you to change the, change the pamphlet
So we're just gonna
and
change
direct.
the pamphlet
I think that's
instead.
easier,
Okay.
because then you have the authority at any time to
change it.
change how people are directed.
Okay. How about you, Jessica?
Sounds great.
Okay.
I can't tell you how little of an opinion I have, so your suggestion sounds perfect.
All right, who's gonna go work with Kate to make sure whatever she
I can
has
do it
is
if you direct me
revised?
to.
All right, we need to vote on this, I suppose?
You can't vote no.
Oh, okay, I can't vote in a workshop, but when we get out, yeah, I know, because we're not changing it actually.
Yeah,
We're just
so
gonna direct whoever is giving out the pamphlet to have the proper instructions
I
on
can
it.
take care of that.
She will take care of that for you.
Sounds great,
All right, we're done.
appreciate it.
Anything else on this? You guys good with it?
Yep.
You okay
Yep.
with it? No more comment from a visitor? Salme, no? You too? No? All right, I guess we close the public hearing. Okay, close the public hearing at 6:10. All righty then. Do you have non-public or do you have regular business?
I have an emergency item to, but it's public.
Oh, okay, good. I'm sorry, you have to wait till.
Emergency repair.
You have to wait till 6:30, I guess.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Yeah. Did you see that paper to your left? I just want to bring that to your attention.
That has my name on it.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, when is this due? Is it on mine? It must
If
have
it's
been
addressed to
mine,
you, it's probably your birthday.
Okay. Thank you.
I didn't put it in there.
Do need a building permit too.
Oh, I'll go print you one.
How about that?
We can do things.
Solving a problem and it creates another.
Oh.
I'm telling you. Like pouring rain in my kitchen, pouring rain in my new bathroom.
Oh, no. I hate it. We haven't had any water issues this year.
Like every time it rains?
Oh, yeah, in the kitchen, yeah. And the snow and melting is coming in the house. So, I'm gonna have a rubber roof put on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because it doesn't have the like this slant.
Oh, okay.
It's the one that goes around the front of my porch,
Mm-hmm.
That camera's off.
so.
Thank you.
um,
Thank you.
yeah, It is. So my new
Just two quick items, we'll do an easy one first. Got the annual IMC support, software support bill from the Stratford County Sheriff's Department today. And so it's purchase number 1889, made out to the Stratford County Sheriff's Department for $3,455, and that comes out of our dispatch line item.
I'll move purchase order 1889 to Stratford County Sheriff's Department, $3,455 for annual software support.
Seconded.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
During the rainstorm on Saturday, water got into the light bar on cruiser number 71, the 2016 vehicle, and shorted it out. But it shorted it out in the opposite way. It didn't short it out so it doesn't work. Now the lights just flash intermittently all by themselves, and they shouldn't. Just to give you a little history in that vehicle, instead of going to one of our regular vendors that year, we actually got a quote from another vendor who was just starting on business and was going to save the town a ton of money to install this equipment. And come to find out, there was no savings at all. We didn't lose any money, but there was some issues with the vendor. And the equipment that was put on the vehicle isn't as in high quality as what we normally get. We usually get the Wayland light bar. This is a Phoenix light bar. Anyway, so 2A has, they had purchased 12 light bars at one point to get a deal. And this is, they have an extra one down there. Light bars normally go for $3,000. They're willing to sell us that light bar for $500. Brand new light bar. So I've got a purchase order here number 1890 to 2A to replace the roof light bar on Cruiser 71. I've actually made it out for $1,000, just assuming it's many hours of labor to take off the old one, hook up the new one, hook it up to the camera system and all that stuff. I know it's gonna be a high number. I think it's probably gonna be close to $750, $800, but I wanted to make sure that the purchase order was high enough. And that will come out of our equipment line item.
Is it a Wayland or a Phoenix?
It's gonna be Wayland.
Cool. Alright, purchase order 1890 for a light bar to two-way from the amount of $1,000.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
What color are they?
What color are they?
Greens?
Hopefully blue.
That's why it's so cheap.
Yeah, they wanna get their business back, is probably what the whole thing is. Alrighty, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Sorry, I signed it.
That's okay. We had to get that color taken care of. Okay, and-
That's all that I have for the board. Anything from me?
Mhm.
Sure, thank you.
Very good.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
And George, did you have something that you needed to? Are you here just to be here, or are you?
No, I have a question on that. You got something, you got,
Well, no, we have Charlie who is on the agenda, but it's gonna be a while, if you want to go.
okay, now, I just wanted to ask, like, when we have this, I don't know if this is what you want to do, non-public about, when we have a storm, if we can feed the guys, you know.
Do we have a line for that?
No.
I mean, every town around, and they're tied up at 24, you know, that's why I just wanted to get up.
I'm not sure that this board has ever had the discussion. It was not allowed for many years, and then one board not long ago decided that, under certain, when it's a particularly long storm that was never really defined, then they could do it, just not every storm, so.
Yeah,
It's
if it's a
been back
2 hour
and
storm,
forth.
it wouldn't be
No, no,
necessary, you're
yeah.
talking in
We're
overnight
talking
and
a
stuff,
long
and I
period.
don't have a problem with it, I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, but
I mean, I'm sure we can find a
It's
couple
something,
$100.
so keep it in the, keep it in the back of your head for your next year's budget that you have a line in there, or be part of your,
I mean, we can take it out of, out of the equipment, whatever.
well, it's not equipment,
Well,
but, keep it in your,
Supplies.
just
I
keep
think
it in your
supplies
head
is
to
just
increase that line, or a line to help offset that.
I mean, it's not like we get 40 guys.
No, I know,
And it-
that's why I said I don't think
mean,
it's a problem, but going forward, I don't know how much snow we're gonna get for most of the year. we wanna take a vote on that?
Sure.
Okay.
I move that we allow, funds to come out of the budget to feed the guys on a particularly long storm.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion?
Do we wanna put some sort of limit
Value?
on it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Or,
we were just thinking, get some groceries and making something up.
like sandwiches or something like
Or
that.
sometimes grab a pizza or something. you know,
Yeah.
but it's not-
So not to exceed $100. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a storm,
Right.
a-
You know,
yeah.
I didn't wanna do, like, someone should give the guys vouchers, and that'd be more work on them.
yeah,
you know,
Yeah,
that-
no, I
that
would
which is, you
think it
know,
would be better just to bring it in-house and have them come in as they come in through the rotation
You know,
and,
that, I mean, that's why I decided it's easier to bring it up and then, you know, I mean, it's not all the time, but we've had some pretty lengthy storms this
Yeah.
year. and,
okay,
So amend that to not exceeding more than $100.
I'll second that.
okay,
Per day,
for storm.
if you're gonna have a 3-day storm.
Well, that's him to decide, no, I mean, if you have the flexibility of whatever you need to do to make sure that they, either that or they get to go home and have something to eat and then come back, one way or the other.
It's just, I mean, you know, that's why we try to avoid going through.
Yep,
And,
yep.
you know, I mean, sometimes you don't get back.
Yeah, okay.
Uh,
So,
I'll second
any other, okay, so, I'll call the question, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Okay, you're all set.
We installed a roof structure over the baler today,
Mhm.
and I don't know if we want to send a thank you to Atlantic for coming over the forklift, but, you know, they've come right over and done it for us. Within 15 minutes, we had the roof up on the building. We built it in the shop, and it would have been a pain to try to build it on the unit, so
Okay.
maybe just, you know, a thank you. I mean, it'd probably cost a few bucks to get somebody to come in and do it, but.
Okay.
Anything for me? We had another water issue on Foundry Street, same place again this Saturday night, so we didn't
In the
have to
time when
pump.
they had to draft it into.
Yeah, it didn't get up that high, but
Okay.
it started coming across the road again. And then further down, they were pushing the snow into the ditch from the Legion, and I had to clean some of that out so the water would flow down the road, down the ditch instead of in the road. But,
Do we have this in a plan for the springtime to camera it or whatever we had talked about? I
This
mean,
one-
this is gonna be,
This is a different culvert, this is no culvert where this is happening. That culvert
but you
should have
don't
been
think
put in.
they're all
There
doing
should have been a
something
culvert
with each?
put in there when they did the road over.
Oh, okay.
And it's the
So we still
slowest
have the
spot.
issue with the,
Yeah,
going down
I'm still
Locust
waiting
and
to
into-
get it in
okay,
the camera and
okay,
stuff, but I mean,
okay.
every time we get it scheduled or something, or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So, nothing on my issue that we spoke about previously,
Not yet.
no.
All right, thanks, George. Nothing else? Okay, Charlie.
Question. You got any questions on the gambling warrant article? Paul can answer it, he's right here.
I understand that, but we have an agenda that we have to follow.
Oh, I didn't know when's comment from visitors.
It's meeting with Charlie Putnam is the
And
first,
then-
before that.
Then comments.
Oh, sorry.
Hello,
Hello.
welcome, thank you so much for coming in and being here with us.
Thank
The warrant is in there along with a copy of the proposed zoning revisions for your reference.
So thank you for meeting with me.
Mhm.
It's part of my routine for getting ready for the, used to be town meeting, now deliberative session, to meet the board, see what questions or concerns you may have, what changes you may want to see me make in moderators' procedures or rules. I'd like to encourage everyone, or for every warrant article, to have somebody to speak to it, to introduce it to the voters. That's my list. I don't know what might be on your list.
I have one big question, which I guess I've never been told the answer to, is what is the responsibility of the Board of Selectmen to be part of the election? What is our responsibility? Do we have to be there a certain many hours? I mean, does it have to be all of us at the same time? Because it's a little different now that we have a board that works
Works
full-time versus previously that someone's been there. So do you know what our responsibilities are? I know it says we have to be there, but it didn't say that we have to all be there and all be there all day. So, And what's our purpose?
There is no rule.
Well, I
Very
would say
existential.
probably to propose the articles, since they are, with the
No, no.
exception of.
No, I'm talking about election days.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Before
I'm talking
election
about-
days.
okay.
Yeah, well, any election, there's 4 this year, so,
I'm not gonna go from memory, and I didn't bring my,
Oh, that's okay.
my election books with me,
Okay.
but let me take a look. I do recall that there is a statute, that talks about the select board's presence. And there is let's see, what I learned when I became moderator is that the town clerk is exceptionally knowledgeable about election procedure, which is, election procedures are carefully regulated by state law, and the compliance manual is like that. And so I've had the luxury of learning election procedure from really a master of the process. And so I've sometimes wondered, how necessary it is for the moderator, but the statute's pretty clear that the moderator has to open and close and be present, and when both parties, at least at the general parties, have inspectors that are watching what we do, and the state Attorney General's office sends people through to look at what we do. So we do want to be sure to comply, but let me check, because I kind of had the impression that you did, and I seem to recall a conversation with Mike Rollo, because I asked him, do all 3 of you have to be here? And I think he said, no, we're here, generally to help assure our constituents, the voters in this town, that this is well run, and that we can be an extra set of hands for getting ballots and so on and so forth. Sometimes the selectmen spell me. So with the voting machine, the instructions for the moderator is not to touch the ballot, but to monitor how it goes in, so that people can get their ballot into the machine cleanly and clearly. So I stay there the whole time, but Mike and the other select board members would expel me for a while, so I could get some lunch or do something different. And it allows Kate to work with the supervisors, or if there's a line for check-in, it lets her pay attention to that. But honestly, I have this recollection that you are not all 3 required to be there for all day. So
Okay.
let me double check.
okay, sure. I certainly can put time in, that is not a problem. And I know that we usually stay at the end and then help count and that kind of stuff, which is,
We do have to certify the vote. We
right,
sign
we sign the papers that come out of the voting machine, I believe.
Yeah.
So those are, out in the evening hours, it's not a problem at all for me, but during the day, it might be, I couldn't take all day probably. So if you get back to us, and we can work it out, if we don't all have to be there, we can work it out, the 3 of us, and making sure that there might be somebody who's there
Yeah.
most of the day. So again, to spell you, so you can do whatever you have to do, and Kate, and so I don't have a problem with that, I just kind of really need to make sure what's required.
I'll probably confer with Kate too.
Sure.
I still lean on her quite heavily on election stuff.
Yeah,
so
no, that's great, I appreciate that, thanks, Charlie.
glad to do it. The only change I was gonna make you all aware of is that I never saw the reason for reading the text of the warrant article before debate. There are so many ways now that people get notice of what's in those warrant articles that it seemed to me archaic to read it for everyone. At the school board deliberative session though, their council, strictly construing the state statute that says that the warrant article shall be read, said I should read it, and so I did read it. I am happy to go to NHMA and see what other moderators do, but I was thinking I would probably just read it and try to be, clear about it, but not labor over it. Have you had discussions about who might present the various articles? Just introduce the articles so that the first person who speaks to it can kind of orient voters. Here's what we're voting on, and here's why we put the warrant article forward.
I believe it was you, right?
It was never officially decided. I assumed it would be, but
Right.
I don't know that was officially determined.
Okay, it will probably be different after our meeting, and we're probably gonna do it and vote it.
All right,
And if for some reason she is not able or something, it would of course be one of us.
and similarly for answering questions that come up, do you,
I would think it would be between Caroline and one of us. I mean, probably me as chair, if I can, and if not, I might search the two others, for, you know, and, yeah, phone a friend, yeah. So I would say between Caroline and I, but mostly, I'd like to keep it to one person, but if she might miss a little part of it or something, we can have the right to make sure that it's clear.
okay?
Okay.
And are there any changes to the moderator's house rules that you'd like to see?
No?
Any, any questions or comments that you've heard from voters, like they love this or they hate that, or?
No, I think you should, if there's a change, you definitely should ask for it in writing. I think that's something that is
The
absolutely, the motion absolutely is still a must, because I think
That's been a positive change.
that it's been a positive change, yeah. So I don't think anything has been, you haven't been to one.
No,
Haven't
I've
you
never
haven't
been to one too.
Have you been, you might
No,
have?
I think it's well run. I think you set the expectations up front of how people are to address.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll try to keep that short so that we get right to the business, but yeah, I think it does help to, because some people are intimidated by the process too, and we don't want that.
We don't, but yeah, I mean, you still have to follow a process, and otherwise it could turn into a circus, and that's not what we want either.
Don't like to word that. All right, I'll also check in with Bob. Again, we needed
Oh,
police.
presence.
Yeah, but,
Okay.
again, I think it's helpful, but if you don't anticipate anything being particularly contentious, sure.
You never know.
Well, I thought it was a requirement to have a police officer. I remember Bob standing by the voting machine all the time. That they're
He's
not.
often there, he's in and out during elections. I don't know that he's.
Oh, you're talking about the deliberative session?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so,
I think he typically stays to lend a voice to articles that he can respond to, and then he's also just a presence, but I don't think he necessarily stays to the end.
yeah.
The office sees
I
it.
can't think of anything that's really gonna
And
have the people up for our, to be honest with you.
and petition
Those-
articles are.
So, I see that you're looking at a previous version, but just note that the highlighted words that you're looking at, the board did vote last week to not recommend that one about elderly exemptions.
I'll work with an updated version.
Yeah, I'll send you the signed real copy. The next one, they're withholding any recommendation. There's just nothing, and then the following one, they are recommending.
Okay.
Otherwise, that is otherwise accurate.
And do we know, are there people who've identified themselves as being willing to speak to any of these? I think you said Lorraine was willing to speak on one.
She would be able to speak to the redistricting one. The first one, Kim St. Hilaire handed in, and I think she said she would be willing to speak to it. I believe you have her email address, because I think it was copied on a thread.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Bowen, who represents Dover Bowl, who is a sponsor of that, is behind you. And though he's not a resident, I don't believe, he could tell you what resident might be able to speak to it.
Yes, Mr. Bowen.
Yes.
Is there a resident that would speak to the article on sports retail betting?
Sue Monahan,
Susan
the
Neighbors?
Jalberts, Sandra or Jimmy.
Okay.
But Sue spearheaded one of the petitions, so.
Good.
Any
Excellent.
questions?
No.
No,
Yes,
good.
no?
All right, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Charlie,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Okay, to the board.
Thank
I was over here to see if what I did, you know, Sue and us did for the petition and all that's gonna translate into an article to vote.
It did,
Oh,
It's
okay.
on there.
One on the right.
it did.
I just wanted to make sure the
Yeah,
ball got passed, that's all.
we assumed it was Dover Bowl. I don't think it said it was Dover Bowl, but we
didn't.
assumed
Well,
it
because
was,
the text doesn't say that, because
Right.
that wasn't part of the text.
Right.
It's just that he worked to get it signed.
Yeah.
So that it would be
Yeah.
on the warrant.
so, yeah, we, it is going forward to be on the ballot.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You guys have a good night.
You as well.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
See you
Sir?
Wednesday.
Mr. Casanelli,
Yeah, see you Wednesday.
all got it.
They're,
We're regular.
Mr. Casanelli owns the junkyard and towing business on Somersworth Road.
okay.
So, my name is Mauro Casanelli, they call me Mo. I talked to Tom Clark, he said my junkyard license was gonna be all set. But then we hired some engineers, and they had a kid working there, an apprentice. And he sent this out, this is an approximate. He did this from Google Earth. When I spoke to Caroline, you said that this was, because of this, you're waiting for a new one? So I
Right, and then you
emailed
did, yeah, and then you did send a new one.
last
So,
week, yeah?
so I got your message today, and Mr. Clark, I understand, is going out to talk to you tomorrow about your junkyard license and the site plan review for the towing business. He's gonna go and verify that you're meeting the setback requirements for the junkyard business, because he just wanted to verify that according to the picture that you're not just up to the lot line, but I think you have to stay 15 or 20 feet away from.
Did you see
the
it
lot
on the new
line.
one?
So he has that, so he's
Okay.
gonna go, I think he said he had an appointment with you for tomorrow to
No.
go.
Nobody called me.
Well, then maybe he's just gonna go stop by, that was my understanding, so
Okay.
I would have you get in touch with him and firm up a time with him, but, my understanding is that tomorrow is his last check through with you to make sure that you're meeting all the conditions of the, business license in addition to the setback. And then assuming that's the case, he will recommend to the select board that you renew his business license for the junkyard, which is separate from the towing business, which is supposed to go through planning. And Tom Clark sent a site review application to Civil Consultants for your planning, for your site plan application. So once that's submitted, then you'll get on the agenda for planning. It's too late for the February meeting, but if we get that pretty soon, you can get on the March agenda for planning for the
Okay, so
towing
that
business.
shouldn't affect the junkyard license, right?
No, they are separate, though they
Okay.
both hinge on that setback.
Because I also have a dealer license, which I just got this from motor vehicles, it says no later than March 1st. I have to
Well-
renew my dealer license, which, so in other words, I have to, so this, yeah, I'll give you another copy of it. That's what, for 18 years, I just mail one of those and I get the license renewed.
So, talk to Tom Clark about that
Okay.
tomorrow, and assuming you meet all the requirements of the junkyard permit,
Yeah? And
you should have a
then,
license pretty easily.
so once that's renewed, then I have to renew my dealer license, so should I leave the application now? That's the
You
one
might
I
as
should-
well, yeah, and then the board can do that at the
You
same
have
time.
a
as
copy
the-
of it from the last couple of years, right?
If you could send it to me again, that would be
Well, yeah, because
helpful.
every time they give it, well, I don't have, this is the new application. And I guess now it's on the second page, but this is how they've been, the other selectmen have been signing the bottom. So you want me to give it to you or to them, or?
Unless you want it, I'll take it.
Give it to her
Yeah,
and
you
she'll.
just have to fill
once-
the
Yeah,
the stop line here similar to what the
Okay,
previous selectmen did.
I'm sure we can handle
And
that.
then I have to go deliver that to Concord.
Okay.
Want this also, and
No, I think that's plenty right
Okay.
here. And I'll make sure Tom knows that I have this, but, okay, thank you.
I haven't heard anything, and it's getting, a month away, that's why I came in.
Well, because he's been waiting for these pictures, and then he got the pictures, so we don't have Tom for a lot of hours every
Yeah.
week, so you know, he fits it in with everything else that he does. But he has the picture, so he's going out to confirm that you've met all the requirements, so.
Yeah, they should have never sent this one. There was a kid, he came down, he said, oh, I just took it off the internet. He goes, so I'm gonna zoom out so that the property line looks good. So, I don't know, I mean, but then the civil engineers here in South Berwick.
Yeah.
All right then, all
Okay,
right, thank you.
all right,
Very
thank
good.
you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. All right, so, where are we? Community input. Consent calendar. Approved for consensus?
Yep.
All right. Department has already done. Town meeting, meet the moderator.
I think we're all set with all those things.
Okay. Oh, this is our thing here, okay, so that's
Yeah.
all set. Recreation legal review,
So I sent those handbooks, the employee handbook and the parent-student handbook, to the attorney to get a quote as he requested. He's willing to cap it at $500.
Nice,
So
that's way less than I expected.
yeah.
that is less than I would have thought too. So if it's all right with the board, then once the committee approves it, which would be Wednesday night in theory, that's their goal for Wednesday night, then we'll pass it on to legal. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
good
think
idea.
that's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay. Non-public personnel, that's just a holder,
You sent a proposal on to the board for their
Oh, okay.
consideration, so if you wanna talk about that, then we
We
should
can-
do that in non-public.
we can
But
go
that can
through
wait
the
till
rest
the
of
end.
it and then go back into that?
Yes.
Okay, we're not gonna do policy review tonight, correct?
No, I don't have an updated
Okay.
draft for you.
Board activities and updates?
Hey, Tori.
I don't have anything.
We have rec this week on Wednesday. So we will be there, try to get this on the go. I think that's all I have the rest of the week. Yeah.
The audit is over, so that just finished today, so we're starting to breathe a little bit in the office. We're still finishing up some year-end things. I'm gonna have you sign off on everybody's paid time off carryovers. But I'm having employees do that first, so we wanna make sure that employees are agreeing or that we reconcile whatever differences before you sign off. I just want you to know that that's coming. I got a doodle poll from the city manager in Rochester. There's been a collective huge concern about the change in the stormwater permit. And so the area, as many as are available, the city managers and town administrators of the Amherst communities are gonna get together on February 4th to talk about how we are going to respond to what's going on right now, which is that as a result of a lawsuit, the permit has changed some. We're in a feedback period with regard to that permit, and then they're gonna revise the permit again in about 6 months, and there will be another public comment period. So I believe part of this is about being unified about public comment, but also in the approach. The last Stormwater Coalition meeting, we had a representative from EPA come and discuss these changes. The implications will be considerable for us, I think, but it's more so for places that have wastewater treatment plants, that the amount of nitrogen is gonna be capped, which means that if there is any new development, any increase in households, that you have to dilute your output or drop your concentration somehow in order to stay compliant. And so Dover just upgraded their facility, and they're working, and if they were to be completely compliant, they said it would cost them about $25 million to redo their facility again. So, it's a little bit, it seems to not really be feasible to meet the kinds of requirements that they're requesting?
Dover does 373 pounds per day on average from 2012 to 2016. The new limit is 164.
Right,
So they're more than double
Yeah.
what their limit is. Ours is, we're exactly in the case that if there's any new development, because we're one of the smaller communities, they've put us in a holding pattern. So our average right now is 11.4 pounds per day, and that's been since 2012, 2016, so I don't know how the trend was, but they've limited us to 12. So we are just under the limit. We wouldn't have to do anything right now, but if they sampled tomorrow, and it was 13, then we'd be non-compliant.
so there's development implications. I don't know how much the water sewer district is aware of what's going on or not. I know the EPA reached out to them about the revisions. I don't know if they're attending or not. There are implications for us with development, but also with stormwater. It just seems like the heaviest implications are with the wastewater treatment plant. So, and in any case, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to this meeting and that we're trying to be on the same page about this. Other than that, now that we're done with audit, we're moving on to the voter's guide, so I want to alert you of that. I don't know if we can wait until the next meeting date for this draft, which doesn't exist yet, to be approved before printing, before getting mailed, because, you know, we've got a short cycle. So just be on the lookout for the draft when I send it, and let me know if you have any feedback, and we need to let the printer know that it's coming.
What are we doing about the annual report?
I have sent an email out to department heads alerting them that they need to be thinking about it. It's due to this office the middle of February. As far as, you know, the board's contribution or my contribution to that, in my brain, it's kind of related to the, it's not related to the voter guide, but it's in the same category in my brain, so I just hadn't gotten there yet.
Things that have to be written.
Yes, that haven't happened yet because of audit, so if one of you wanted to take that on and just summarize 2019, that would be fantastic, but I don't know if there's a will to do that.
Well, do we know who we're gonna dedicate the report to this year? There's like two people who were
There,
major contributors to the town.
I don't know who's
Which-
writing
which
those.
Joe and Ed?
No, Ed Jansen and Donatos.
Cowett was before. He was
How
last
that was last year.
Oh, really?
I thought
Yeah.
that was-
Right, he was last year.
Yeah, he was a year ago, it was right,
Yeah.
but it was in
And
December.
Donatos.
So I don't know who's writing
That was
those up.
last year too, but I thought we had two last year.
We did have two
Well, it is
last
last
year.
year, but last year is when you're gonna do it. It's
We had
it's-
two in 2018, two were honored in for the 2018 town report, and then two noteworthy people passed away in 2019
okay.
as well. So,
Actually, it was more too,
Well-
because of the previous fire chief as well, but I mean, you only can do so many, so.
But he wasn't a resident, right?
Huh?
He wasn't a resident.
Ron Brown?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about Kevin.
Oh, no, Ron Brown.
Yes.
Oh, two people in New Hampshire with coronavirus.
Oh, God.
What?
2 people in New Hampshire isolated undergoing testing.
so
So-
I'll ask Kate if she knows who's writing those up, or if
Well,
she's
she had
working on
mentioned
it.
to me that someone would want to step up to do Mr. Jansen's, but also if we want to, I mean, I don't know who makes those decisions of who gets honored in the annual report, but if we do have it be Mr. Donatos, maybe we can get the family to help write it.
I'll talk to Kate.
You know, see what, I don't know if that's what you wanna do, if you just want to do, honorable mention and have an employee, town people who have done, I don't know how that goes.
Yeah, I don't either, so.
Is Genados the same family that owned Genados in Pittsfield?
Most
No.
of the supermarket in Dover.
Oh, okay, I'm thinking of another Genados.
That's all I have.
Okay, so we should probably think about it as a board of what we would like to see
Yeah.
added into our contribution maybe. See
Yeah.
what we can do with that as well. Okay, doing that. All right.
There's some other things before you
Yeah,
go
we
into
did.
non-public.
Couple of things here. So we have an abatement for $70, these must be leftover
Yes,
residents' taxes.
this was something that, the auditor found.
Okay, so for 2018, these ones were overlooked, there were 7 people that are either military, removed, or dead. But I'll move that we accept this abatement of $70 for 7 individuals.
All right,
Seconded.
okay. Okay, so what does it mean that we're going to be giving this out, or?
Well,
They-
no, it's money not received, so you're basically closing the books
Oh,
on it.
okay, with a total of $70.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, I have some POs.
Okay.
Number 1806 for, coming from the supply line to Intuit for checks for primary checking account in the amount of $596.99.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Purchase order number 1805 to LaBelle Computer Services for IT hardware support and services in the amount of $760 for 10 hours.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
So that would be a good example of a, what did we call that, a bundled PO, where we just,
Oh, blanket
like a
PO, a
blanket
blanket
PO.
PO.
It kinda is, except that it's invoiced in that way, so a blanket PO would really allow for several invoices under one purchase order.
And then purchase order number 1808 for 20 rolls of stamps coming from the postage line in the amount of $1,000.
Okay.
Stamps are
I'll
expensive.
second that.
All right, any discussion?
No.
All right, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
And I have one PO as well. So I'll move purchase order 1905 to LHS Associates for the AccuVote programming for the 2020/February election for $584.
Seconded.
What is that for?
Programming
For
the
the
ballot
programming.
machine.
Okay. They come in and they actually program it here, okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
You signed these, right? So
I
we
did,
done them?
yeah.
So
So
that's-
that's
we're
signed
done.
too, yeah. And this is done, and then you need to sign this one. All right, anything else? All right, I have a letter here, this is for, town, City of Dover is sending us a letter, telling us what, the estimated, value is of the, up and coming,
Hazardous waste.
Hazardous Waste Day, that Dover, does and we participate in. And they're doing it for $2,338, which is, that is our share, right?
That is what they want you to
Yeah.
have set aside to cover, not that it would necessarily be that much, but they just wanna know that you have that much money in budget dollars available for
It
it.
must not be based on last year's then?
No, it's based entirely on what they receive and how many people show up
Yeah.
from which community.
We've only budgeted 1876, so it will be, 600 approximately. So,
It is what it is.
any comment?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Motion to,
Motion to sign and pay that.
well, you don't pay anything until the
Oh,
town,
yeah,
right,
they'll bill us
just
once it
authorizing
actually
us, they're gonna bill
happens.
us, so.
Just letting them know that we do wanna participate.
We wanna participate, okay, so all those are in favor, right?
Aye.
Yeah,
Okay. I think
I'll
we-
second that, yeah.
okay,
Um,
so,
So just one question, are there alternatives?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, like they
You
can
know, we
call
can-
it up to turnkey or?
I don't believe so, but if, you know, any
it would
other,
be more expensive.
any
I think,
alternative that I'm
for-
aware
Yeah.
of, it would be more expensive.
Just like to know, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Put that back in the folder, thank you. All right, that's all we have. Okay, so, community input? All right, so we need a motion to go into non-public, please. Item
I'll
C.
move that we go into non-public for RSA 91A:3, section 2, letter A for personnel.
Okay, seconded. All right, Jessica?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Denise, yes. Okay, so we're in non-public, and then that will be the end of our meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so,
Does anyone want me to print out what the
Yeah, that
Denise
would
is?
be,
Okay.
that would be helpful. I did read it, but,
I'm a paper person too.
Yeah.
I cannot,